winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
Over 2 million of you, I would guess, have gone on to the Drudge Report over the last 24 hours. You've gone to WorldNet Daily, you've gone to the michaelsavage.com, and you've seen the travesty that has emerged. You have seen that the WikiLeaks dump of emails from the Clinton camp have produced several revelations. One of the revelations is that for the first time there is an email from Mrs. Clinton herself to one of her workers saying, let us hold off on Savage. Let's hold on doing anything until we all talk. It is called Sharia law, SHE-RIA law. Bottom line is, Clinton kept Savage on the hate list. Clinton declined to help lift Savage's UK ban. This is a major story for those of you who are following First Amendment issues in America and around the world. We know that the deplorable candidate on the left will do this to you. And when they came for Michael Savage, Fox News was not there because they're not Michael Savage. When they came for Michael Savage, NBC, CBS, ABC was not there because they're not Michael Savage. But strangely enough, way back when this happened in 2009, CNN came to me and they did an interview with me on this whole issue of being banned in Britain. And I have that 2-minute interview, which we'll play for you. You'll find out how far Fox has fallen, that even the old CNN was ahead of them. We also have a Savage BBC vintage radio interview on my being banned in Britain with BBC Radio. Many of you say, well, who cares? What do I care? I'm a big shot in the talk radio business. I'm a big shot in television. I don't need it. What do I care about Savage? Let him, screw him, throw him off the air. Well, that's exactly why she's going to become president, and that's exactly why when they came for Savage, you should have defended me. But because you're all so minuscule, you're such mini-men, all of you in the media, that you don't understand that by not circling the wagons, even with an individual you are competing with, you are basically digging your own grave. So let me go back to the beginning. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are in the news business. Some of you are in the politics business. Some of you understand the ramifications of this case. It's the biggest one. The bottom line is that I appealed to Hillary Clinton when I was banned in Britain while she was Secretary of State. My British lawyer asked her to fight for me, to lift me from a travel ban to the UK. Now, what happened was pretty shocking. Here I am, a talk show host who does not advocate violence, who advocates patriotic traditional values, borders, language, culture, who found himself on a list not to be allowed to enter England. That's what I told the BBC. And I said, what does that say about the government of England? It says more about them than it does about me. I was put on a list of terrorists, neo-Nazi murderers who were in prison for killing Jewish children on buses, all because of my speech in America. And I said, this is the nation where the Magna Carta was created? And so what I did was I appealed to Mrs. Clinton. I had my lawyers in England wrote her a very lengthy letter, which she received, and she refused to help me. In fact, if you read the article on WorldNet Daily, you could link it up on michaelsavage.com, directly on my own website. The article's right there, WorldNet Daily exclusive, Sharia law, Hillary kept Michael Savage on hate list. You'll find an email, a copy of the email from HROD17 at clintonmail.com. This is through WikiLeaks. Do you have any idea what I'm saying to you? Do you have any idea this is the first time we actually see an email from Mrs. Clinton about me? What did she say? Did she say, I'm going to help Michael Savage even though I detest his politics? Did she say, I detest the man's politics, but I will help him because he's an American citizen and I am his representative as Secretary of State, and we believe all Americans are entitled to freedom of speech? No, it's not what she said. She said something else. It said, subject, Savage holding pattern and next steps. It was sent to Mills, Cheryl D. Mills. Any of you in the audience know the name Cheryl D. Mills? Kind of a prominent woman in the Clinton administration right now. And then Cheryl Mills sent an email to Jacob J. Sullivan. Isn't he a continuous player? Isn't he still up there in the camp? In a second email to Clinton on the same day, Clinton's legal counsel Mills wrote on Michael Savage, Joan wanted everyone to clearly understand before any further discussion occurred with UK that Savage's exclusion should also have occurred under our legal regime. Listen to this. Savage's exclusion could also have occurred under our own legal regime. So to the extent we want to suggest to UK that his exclusion on free speech grounds is inappropriate or anything of that, that we should understand we may appear slightly hypocritical given our legal regime and actions. Do you know what that means? Can anyone raise their hand in the audience who's not interested in who Trump nudged in 1402? Who Trump nudged on the Nina de Pinta and the Santa Maria while Columbus was discovering America? That's something that you leave to Fox News. You leave that to Blondie. Let Snow White cover the touching. That's what she's good for. Let the other little stooges at Fox News, let the puppets at Fox News cover the touching. Because this is more touching. This touches our First Amendment. And it occurs in writing from Hillary Clinton, from Mills, from Jacob Sullivan, where they say the UK ban against Savage could happen in the U.S. on the same grounds, according to the woman who likely will be White House counsel should Clinton be elected. Meaning, don't help me today because you're all such big shots in the media. You know what's amazing? This story was on the Drudge Report since yesterday. It's a blockbuster. It's actually the first story where Mrs. Clinton's email is actually seen through WikiLeaks. I don't see her name in any other emails. Do you know that not one television show will book me for this story? To show you how fascistic this government has controlled, this fascistic government has now taken control of the entire media. Every last one of them is now controlled by this Democrat machine. None of them will have me speak about this issue. I only have this radio show. For how long, I don't know. I don't know how long this will be allowed. I have no idea. But I thank the people who give me this ability to get the truth out, because what I am saying to you today has deep ramifications for everyone in the news business, everyone in the commentary business, everyone in the media business will be affected by the outcome of this particular case. It's bigger than you may think. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than one man. It's bigger than the First Amendment itself. It goes to the heart of who this woman is, and is she qualified to be president? If she would not help me as an American citizen, why would she help you? The answer is maybe she will, maybe she won't. For example, if you are a radical leftist who wants to blow up Republican campaign headquarters and go visit a fascist dictatorship, maybe she'll help you get there. I appealed to Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State to defend my First Amendment rights. She refused to do so. Why did she refuse to do so? I will read you the letter that my attorney wrote. I was banned by the government's top Homeland Security official in 2009. Along with terrorists and neo-Nazi murderers, on the pretext that my views might provoke violence. Now, the interesting thing is, my show was not even heard in England. Then Home Secretary Jackie Smith, an altogether unsavory individual, said she decided to publicize the list of 16 people banned since October to show the type of behavior Britain will not tolerate. Isn't that interesting? Britain will not tolerate such behavior as mine? It isn't even behavior, it's speech. You mean, but she tolerates Muslims who say Sharia law, kill the queen, will take over the government? That she tolerates? It's pure hypocrisy and cowardice in England, but we've expected that from Britain under the latest round of rulers. Did you expect that in your own nation? I am a talk show host who does not advocate violence, or I wouldn't be on the radio. I simply advocate patriotic traditional values, borders, language, culture, and yet I'm banned from England. I'm lumped in with Hamas leader Yunus al-Astal, former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard Stephen Donald Black, neo-Nazi Eric Galib, radical American pastor Fred Phelps. I'm on that list. Others on the list are Russian skinhead leaders, Islamic leader Wagdi Abd al-Hamid Mohammed Ghonim, Abdullah Qadri al-Akhdal, Safwat Khajazi, Amir Siddiq, Abdul Al-Moussa, Sami Ulkunta, and Nasser Javed. I'm on their list. How could a nation put me on a list and leave hate preachers in England who say that we're going to kill all of you? We're going to convert all of you to Islam. How is it possible that those hate preachers can't be deported from Britain, but I can be banned from Britain? People who advocate actual murder cannot be deported from Britain? Mrs. Clinton, if any of you are listening to me, I know you detest me, but I'm asking you a simple question. How is it that liberalism has gotten so distorted and cowardly? How is it that there are no liberals left in your government, Mrs. Clinton, of the old-style liberals who used to be my teachers who said, I may not agree with you, but I would do what? To protect your freedom? What did liberals used to say? I may not agree with you, but I would go to my death to defend your rights to speak. What happened to that form of liberalism, Mrs. Clinton? There's a lot more to the story. It's called Banned in Britain, Beating the Liberal Blacklist. I haven't beaten it. And we're trying to get the copy to you of this whole story. I had long forgotten this case until we ran a search of the WikiLeaks papers. And actually, I was quite shocked to see an email from Hillary Clinton about yours truly, Michael Savage. I was honored, by the way, that they consider me so important that they wouldn't even protect me. I was quite honored to see that Hillary Clinton herself stepped in and said, let's do nothing. And the reason they said let's do nothing is because her lawyer, Cheryl Mills, said that the rules in England for banning people are the same as the rules we have here. So if we help Savage, it could turn around on us, and therefore we may not be able to throw people out of the country, or let's say forbid people from coming into the country. It's a very interesting question. I mean, if Hillary becomes president, is she going to deport Americans who are patriotic? Will she use this now to deport people from America who she doesn't agree with? Will she say that they're hateful and they can't stay in this country? Do you have any idea does anyone out there know what the hell I'm talking about? Does anyone out there have any idea what the heck I'm talking about? I sometimes feel as though I'm talking to myself. I'm living in a numb nation. It's no longer the savage nation. It's the numbed nation. It's the drugged nation. It's like asleep. Unless you say Democrat, Republican, unless you say Trump, they don't respond. They're like dead lab rats. And the only electricity that'll run through them is the word Trump. But the lab rats are dead, unresponsive. And now you understand the danger we are all in. This whole world that you are enjoying right now, this world of freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of the internet, is dissolving in front of your eyes. The snake in the White House, the demon in the White House, Barry Obama, last week transferred the control of the internet to Europe. Did you know that? And nothing happened. There wasn't a peep from one of the fake Republican two-faced phonies in the Congress. He just turned it over to Europe. My friends, there's so much at stake today that we're going to talk about freedom of speech today. Do you have any idea what the sewer and how deep the sewer is? Do you know how deep the sewer pipe is that runs right into the Democrat machine? Do you know how deep the sewer is dug and what they will do to destroy your freedoms? I have for you a few things that you got to know about. One is you want to read this for yourself. That I know. What you want to read is not only the article on Sharia law, Clinton kept Savage on a hate list. It's on the top of michaelsavage.com. It's on WND. But in a few moments, we're going to post a copy of the original book that was published on this issue back in 2009. And I self-published this book. Of all my books, I had to self-publish this. Hardcover, 175 pages. It has all the letters back and forth, including, shockingly, Hillary Clinton's letter, which has never been seen before. Savage calls on Hillary, my letter to the Secretary of State. I'll summarize it for you in a few minutes. And I believe she never answered me. I don't think I received an answer from her. I have the original letter I wrote to Mrs. Clinton. I will read it again today in my last appeal before the election for Hillary Clinton to show all American people they have nothing to fear from her. I am appealing to Hillary Clinton to show America and the world that she is not as deplorable as everyone fears. She is not as dictatorial as everyone fears. She's not as nuts as everyone fears. That, in fact, if she becomes president, which probably is more than 50-50 right now, if she becomes president, she will defend Americans on both sides of the aisle. She will not provoke a civil war by only talking to one side of the American electorate. There's another 50% of us who are not going to go away quietly into the night. Forget about me. There are millions of us. Millions of us. And remember this, all of those of you who are listening to me for the first time. This country is more divided today than it has ever been in my entire lifetime. It's divided because of the divider-in-chief, Barry Obama, who has used race and class warfare to divide America. America was coming together. America was healing. And this community organizer came along and divided us, turned black against white, white against black, gay against straight, straight against gay. He has turned everybody against everybody, young against old, the haves and the have-nots. And he walks around like he's Mr. Uniter. He has divided the nation. He has caused the schizophrenia. And let me give you the quotient I came up with. It's 50-50. 50 for her, 50 for Trump, right? Well, there's a little difference between the 50% of the populations. You want to hear them? On one side, we have 50% of the population who was for Hillary Clinton. Of that 50%, 80% or more pay no taxes. Of the 50% who support Trump, 80% pay all of the taxes. That's my quotient. You didn't hear it on CNN. You didn't read it in the New York Times. You heard it from Michael Savage. I'll be back in a minute to follow up on the story, and we are expecting a very big guest today. No, it hasn't been confirmed? Been turned down? We don't know, but we're expecting a huge guest today. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call